father. He has another 16-year-old also in school right now, and Gordon joins me now on the line. Gordon, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Hi, can you hear me?
We sure can. You know,
we've had our challenges this morning, I think, communication-wise, but thank you for your patience.
I think we've had some challenges this whole year. And, you know, this last week, I think a lot of parents have put a lot of thought into a decision about heading back to school this week after Easter break. And so what have you been thinking about? What went into your decision to keep Sarah and your son in school?
Well, we have put a lot of thought into it, and it was a matter of not a little bit of contention, but between my wife and I. I started out of the gate being quite concerned about the situation and her potentially being exposed. I would have, coming from New York State, where basically early in the pandemic all hell was breaking loose. We were coming at it from a very prudent perspective. However, Sarah is a very social child. She forms friendships quickly. She's that kid in the schoolyard that will reach out to a child that's been left out of the play group. So for her, these social connections were especially important. And I think at the end of the day, what won out was the balance between mental health and physical health. We felt that, the precautions that were being taken were certainly a very strong step in the right direction. We would have preferred, or I would have preferred, a smaller class size. But that being said, I'm very impressed by the team at Brunskill and how they have been able to balance those things, how they've been able to enforce the mask wearing and the social distancing. These are kids, and they're amazing. Honestly, the team is amazing, and I think the kids have really stepped up to the plate as well. So it's been a very positive experience for us, and I think I'm quite happy. Again, I came at it from, I did not want to send Sarah into a classroom setting, but I'm very happy that we did. I think it's worked out so far very well.
Is there anything that could change in the days ahead as we watch variant cases and looking at the numbers? What are you paying attention to as things continue?
I'm paying attention to the age groups that are affected. I'm reading the news from Regina, and I'm seeing doctors reporting that the patients going into ICU are younger and younger, that they're seeing patients in their 30s and even in their 20s being admitted to intensive care. That's very worrisome to me, that the younger age groups now seem to be more severely ill than previously with the new variants. So that's an area of concern, and that's something that at least I'm looking at very closely. I know the teachers are also quite concerned about this, so I think we're all on the same page there. We want what's best for the kids. But yeah, that's something that we are looking at very closely, and I don't know what the tipping point would be, but certainly that's an area of concern for us.
Gordon, really good to talk to you today. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it, and apologize for the communication complications this morning.
Hey, we're so used to it, Gordon. Don't worry about it. Take care, okay?
Have a wonderful day.
That's Gordon Broderick. He has 2 children going to school here in Saskatoon. Now, Kyle Anderson would rather keep his kids at home. He is a microbiologist at the University of Saskatchewan. He joins us on the line right now. Kyle, good morning.
Good morning, Alicia.
So tell us about your thinking on this. Well, how did you come to your decision?
So first, I'm just going to say it's not that I would prefer to keep my kids at home. I feel that I have an obligation to my community to keep my kids at home. So we know that every long weekend since the start of the pandemic, there's a surge in cases, and we especially saw that after Christmas. We know that over the break, with relaxed bubbles, kids, families were getting together, so there's a much higher chance that people might be in that early infectious period where they might be bringing it back to school. And we know that while 4 provinces in Canada have been following NAFI guidelines and vaccinating teachers so that they can actually make that a safe work environment, Saskatchewan has been refusing to follow those guidelines. So teachers are not protected. We've got kids who might be bringing COVID, especially variants, into the schools. And if I keep my kids at home, I can make that a safer environment, not just for my kids, but for everyone in that school.
You know, we talked to you a few weeks ago. You were concerned about the numbers rising. I'm wondering what's happened since we last talked to you.
So in Saskatoon, in the last 3 weeks, we've had about a threefold increase in the amount of COVID, and we've gone to over 50% of new cases are found to be variants. So we are really on the same track that Regina was about a month ago, and we don't need to get so bad that we have to lock down. We could say, let's do some stuff proactively.
What was the situation in Regina when we started to see cases rising? Because I think a lot of people are wondering, well, are we seeing transmission in schools? Just how is there a risk in schools? Because some people would argue we haven't seen that kind of transmission in schools. What do you think?
There have been something like 70 schools with outbreaks in the last month in Saskatchewan, and a lot of the measures that we were doing, masking and sanitizing and distancing, those worked quite well with regular COVID, but these variants, because they are 50-60% more transmissible, they're able to sort of break through those barriers or break through that armor that we've sort of built into our students here. So we are seeing more school outbreaks, and we are seeing larger outbreaks in schools, not just in Saskatchewan, but across the country.
How do you feel about the decision that you've made?
You know, I know it's going to be harder for me to get my work done during the week, having my 5 kids at home since I'm a single parent, but I know that it's something that, you know, I don't want to a few weeks from now say, oh, I wish I had done that to just make schools a little bit safer. So I'm being proactive and I'm putting my community first.
What about parents who feel like they can't keep their kids home?
You know, and a lot of parents can't, and I think that I have that privilege of being able to make their children's and their homes a little bit safer by keeping my kids home. Because even if only some of us parents are able to pull our kids out, that increases the distancing in school. That increases the chances that there won't be transmission. So this is really about us helping each other if the policies we have in place aren't enough to sort of keep us all safe.
What are you going to be watching for over the next few days?
You know, the next few days are probably not going to show us a whole lot because it does take a little while to start to see these numbers creeping up if they are spreading in schools. But definitely the positivity is 10% yesterday for Saskatoon tests that were done, and a few weeks ago it was only 3%. So definitely we're seeing these increased transmissions and higher numbers in kids, and I'm expecting it to just keep going up.
Kyle, good to talk to you today. Thank you for this.
Thank you.
That is Kyle Anderson, a microbiologist at the University of Saskatchewan. What are your thoughts on what you've just heard from both parents? You can get in touch with us. Our email address is saskatoonmorning@cbc.ca. You can call us and leave a message on our talkback line, 306-956-7456. You can also tweet me or message me on Instagram. I'm at LishaCBC. A lot of people have been writing in, sharing their thoughts. Aaron Cook says, the kids will be working from home with me until things are looking better. Shannon Harnett says, we have been remote learning since the beginning of the school year. Lock Willie says, mine is a day 2 kid, so she's back Tuesday. She'd prefer in class, but wouldn't be upset with virtual for the short term. And then Allie says, mine have been home all school year, but if they hadn't already been, they certainly would be now. Again, get in touch with us. Let us know how you're feeling this morning. Students are back at school for in-person learning at both Saskatoon Public and Saskatoon Catholic. Our email address, saskatoonmorning@cbc.ca. Our phone number, 306-956-7456. Or social media, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Lisha.